Welcome to Life, Lafter Divorce, episode 16. I am your host, Leanne Linsky.
And I am the boyfriend.
The boyfriend.
Oh, the boyfriend. My bad.
Not a boyfriend or some boyfriend or her boyfriend or his boyfriend. Just to be clear. Anyway, I want to give a shout out and a big thank you to our friends at the Museum of Broken Relationships. This is the place where memories of broken hearts live and the place where we happen to record this week's episode. So thank you so much for hosting us there. It was lovely as always.
They were so friendly.
Yes.
They were accommodating. They were amazing.
Yeah.
And to be in the museum again was fascinating. Again, you see new pieces and stories that go along with the pieces. And it's amazing. You got to check it out.
Oh, yeah, you do. Absolutely, you got to check it out. And it's in the heart of LA, right there on Hollywood Boulevard. So you're in the thick of it. You can't go wrong, you know? You just can't.
You can't?
No, not at the Museum of Broken Relationships.
So let me ask you this. When you were divorced, or when you went through, when you were divorced, you are divorced.
Yep,
when you
always.
went through your divorces, what kind of attitude did you take into that divorce? Were you angry, spiteful? Because most people get divorced, they've got some resentment towards the other person.
Mm-hmm. I know that, well, my first one is probably a little bit different because I was miserable. I was so sad and frustrated and hurt and all kinds of emotions through that whole thing. I hated it. I really hated it. And in my second one, it was great. No, it was not. Again, it was really hard because, you know, everything changes. It's almost like everything changes overnight once you make that decision. And I think, though, with the second one, that's where I made an active choice that this is going to be a good thing for me. I'm going to make this a good thing for me. I'm going to make this the best thing for me. And I'm going to learn from this. And it was an active choice that I made. But I don't think that everybody gets to that place right away.
Let me ask this. Because we haven't really explored this that much, and if you don't want to, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go into divorce because of something that happened that was negative in the relationship? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Both of them?
In both cases, like, things were happening within the relationship that just weren't working out. And so it wasn't just like one day I woke up, I'm like, I needed to get a divorce. It wasn't, it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't anything like that. But that said, yeah, I think there was a series of events or, just the way things were going in a relationship or, two people's lives change and not always in the same direction. That's what brought it on. But I think that happens with a lot of people, but maybe not all people. And, I've talked to people where they've actually, I don't know many, but I'm trying to think of a few in my head where I've heard people say that they remain friends with their exes for a long time. Like it was an amicable thing. They just realized they weren't in love with each other anymore and they've moved on. It was like years after they had their kids and stuff. And
yeah, they had kids.
Right. And they still do things and they, participate in life together and stuff.
I think kids changes it a lot.
Yeah. And maybe I don't know these people. Maybe I've seen this in the movies. I'm not sure. But but I know it happens. Everybody's experience is different. No two relationships are exactly alike, I hope. And so it's kind of interesting. But I think so often we do hear about the negativity of divorce and that kind of has this dark cloud of doom and gloom all over it. I mean, and that comes from religion, that comes from society, that comes from, all different places. But I don't think it's like that. It can't. Can it be like that in every case?
No, I'm sure there's, from a non-married but been through many relationships kind of person, there are a few relationships that I've had that have ended amicably where we haven't wanted to tear each other's throats out or anything. And we've met up down the road, just for drinks or things, and it's been fine. So there are certain relationships that just run their course sometimes, and it's probably time to end it. That doesn't mean it's an easy end.
No.
It doesn't mean it's simple and people don't get their feelings hurt.
Right.
But there are ways to, I guess, be adult about it and be like, okay, we're going to end this. It's not sort of what's the best for either of us, or we don't feel that way right now, but we know in the long run it's still the best for us. So I think there are, amicable may not be the best word for it, but I think there are relationships or even marriages that end where it's a acceptable sort of end.
Right. Where it's more on like, this is the best thing for both of us. And I would imagine, yeah, that would be better, but then it's like, oh my gosh, this person's so cool. Why? I would like almost second guess that.
Again, it's probably not the majority of the cases, but I'm sure it happens.
And it's the other thing that I do notice, and I will say this real quick, is that the more time that passes between me and my divorces, the less bad I remember. I don't remember as much, and there's so much time between it that I don't.
There's a whole other reason for that, ladies and gentlemen. But we're gonna.
So I think too, it depends on when people are talking to about it, like where they are at their stage of grief. Is it fresh? Is it a couple years later? Is it decades later? Is it that
step 1 or step 12?
Right, exactly. You never know, but it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. So this week we have a very interesting and fun guest. Why don't you tell them about him?
Our guest this week is Vic Cohen. He is an actor, a writer, and comedian here in Los Angeles. And if you're not in Los Angeles to see him on stage, you've probably seen him on a TV show or seen one that he's written for. Also, you can check him out in a recently released documentary called Committed, which is fantastic, and it has a great message. And if you take a look at it, you'll find out exactly why Howie Mandel followed Vic around for 14 years with a camera to make this documentary. So I am very excited to say that Vic Cohen is our guest today. And if you want to find out how to follow him, be sure to check our show notes. And while you're there, be sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Without further ado, Vic Cohen. All right, so we're here with Vic Cohen. Welcome.
Thank you. So exciting to be here. It really is. This is crazy. This museum is insane. It's all women walking around and one guy. It's really funny. This museum of broken relationships.
Are you the one guy? Because I didn't see any guys down there.
No, I did see one other guy. So maybe there are two of us. And then it's all women.
Maybe
it's
this
like
was
this
was meant to be. I told everybody that you were single and we were going to be recording here. So.
Oh, maybe because I am single. And I am so available. Looking at both of you. I don't know what that means.
I know. We keep pushing your hands away.
I know. Hands above the table. Yeah. And also, when I parked just down the street, and for those of you who haven't been in the museum, we are in the thick of things. We are like right in the heart of Hollywood.
We are.
I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, I walked by Superman. I think he'd be a great guest because Lois and he never quite worked out.
True.
Right. And then I saw a Brad Pitt. And he didn't work out either.
Was it really Brad Pitt though?
There are about 10 of them.
Oh, okay.
There's a Marilyn Monroe.
I was concerned about Marilyn because she's part of the wax museum and it's about 102 degrees outside.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It's also funny because it's like the worst image of her, really. I didn't think it was, no offense to the
She's
wax
on her
museum.
hands and knees.
Well, wasn't she always? I mean... Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Phyllis.
Well, I looked at the
That's an inside joke.
I looked at the boyfriend and I was like, take that in. He's like, what's that? I said, it smells like suntan lotion and weed. He's like, welcome to LA.
Totally. Completely. Yeah. Very true. So it's so good. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Well, thank you for your afternoon. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. And you're going to get my whole afternoon. Like
awesome.
After this, we may be an hour or so, but oh no, we're joined the three of us.
We're going to be doing
afternoon.
Lunch. We're going to be taking pictures of the stars.
It's going to be amazing.
We're doing a bus tour.
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Well, what's crazy is I grew up in Chicago and I've been out here a long time. I'm not going to say exactly how long because then it makes me seem super old, but so long. Like, here's how long I've been here. Michael Jackson was alive. George Burns was alive.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
But so many people were alive, and
Everybody's dead now.
everyone. Yes, don't blame me. But
Well, traffic should be better
now or then?
now
Or-
because everybody's dead,
Oh, that's such a good point.
right?
I saw Jack Lemmon
Wow.
with his dog. Both are dead. I'm assuming the dog is. I know Jack left us. But there was something I was going to share. I forgot what I was going to say. I got so excited about what this point I was going to make. Well, it will hit me.
It will hit
me.
you.
Yeah.
It will hit you. Yeah.
We got all afternoon.
Well,
We do have all
it's
afternoon.
What I found interesting is that you're from Chicago.
Yes.
The boyfriend spent 10 years in Chicago, and I'm originally from the Chicago area.
Did we talk about that when we?
I think you
ran
and I
into-
did.
Yeah. When you say you make it sound like he did prison time. The boyfriend.
If
Felt
he
like
did-
prison time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it is. With
I
me.
just am appreciative that you're not calling me the guest, because I actually like hearing my name, unlike the boyfriend.
Well, everybody around me seems to want their anonymity, so I
Not me.
appreciate you.
No, and I mean,
Yeah.
is that how you are with everything? Do you say to the boyfriend, "Can you get me the coffee?" And then we'll have the breakfast and
24/7.
Yeah,
That would be so
everything
annoying.
is-
It's amazing you're together. And by the way, you've been married twice, huh?
Yes, and they are the ex-husbands.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, aren't you due for a third soon? I mean, like, how often do you have the divorces?
Well, as often as I can.
Smart.
No,
Are you living well off those 2 divorces?
they were so long ago. No,
Oh, okay. All right.
no, but I've become a much better negotiator. I'd hope.
Okay, good. And
Yeah.
what about the boyfriend? Oh, you've never been married.
I've
is that
never
right?
been married.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Good.
a smart-
Virgin blood. Someone else to
Yeah.
destroy. I don't
Pretty
need.
soon he's going to be soiled goods.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's so good to be here, and I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear what you got on tap for us.
Well, we were kind of interested. You have a really interesting story. So, you've done quite a bit here in LA.
You mean in breakups or in general?
Well,
Ravaged a lot of
I think
relationships.
Well, I mean, it's inspiring what you do. You're a performer.
Yeah.
You do comedy. You do TV. You
Mhm.
do all kinds of stuff. You're recently in a documentary,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah.
is amazing. Called Committed, which we watched, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool.
So what's interesting about what I find interesting about your story is that all of this, everything about you now, came about from when you were divorced because of a divorce
yeah,
around the same time.
I would say a lot of it happened around that time. Yeah.
Right. So would you mind filling us in at what came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it the divorce that came first and then you pursued your passions, or how did
Well,
that work?
I had a great wife. I was married to an amazing woman, and she was very supportive of whatever I would do. And so I think that part of, I don't really believe it was getting divorced that suddenly somehow freed me or launched me into being more creative or having the opportunities that I pursued. She would have been there the whole time. I mean, I was in my early-ish or mid-ish 20s or whatever. I mean, I was starting my career early in life, and but she couldn't have been better as far as someone I'd want alongside me for my career.
Well, that's a great reason to get rid of her.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So-
Well, here's
No.
the deal. I'll share some thoughts on this.
Okay.
She's amazing. She's remarried. She has a child. She has what she wanted, and I'm really happy for her. And I think that if it's not working for a partner and that partner knows it's just not right, that's the biggest gift that partner can give the other. Is to
Absolutely.
just end it in a loving, graceful, caring, respectful way and move on. And, it was painful for me. It was hard. I cried a lot. She was upset. But ultimately, it was the kind and respectful thing to do. And that doesn't mean that she wasn't still a great friend. Being a partner in a relationship, a marriage, it doesn't mean that a best friend's necessarily always going to be for each person the best partner in a marriage. And I think there can be some mistakes made, at least there were in my case, of mistaking, she's so amazing, I should marry her because she's so amazing, mistaking the facts that she was amazing with some feelings that I was having of some doubt, and also I needed to date more, I think, and kind of experience life more.
Right. No, I
So-
can understand that.
Yeah, having a great friend is a great start, but that doesn't mean I should marry someone right away, or that that I should stay in the marriage automatically, in my opinion.
Right. Well, you were also very young when you got married, right?
Yeah, I was pretty, not that young. I mean, I married her at 30. I mean, I don't know. That's
Oh,
not like,
okay.
you know,
So-
we weren't, you know, I wasn't a child bride or groom.
Well, you look so young now.
Oh,
I thought
yes.
this must have been
Here's what
like-
I think about relationships. The boyfriend, and Leanne, the girlfriend, who's got 2 marriages under her belt. Trying to keep it relevant to the topic. Not because I think about that when I see you. But this is what I've learned over the years. And it's going to sound like a Hallmark saying, but it is so true. And I apply it to all my relationships, not just to my romantic relationships. It can be guy friendships, it could be work relationships. And if you've heard it, I apologize for repeating it, but it's been so helpful in my life. For those who haven't heard it, maybe it will help you. That every relationship is for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. You know, and for me, that means that sometimes information is going to be given to me over a course of time where I may have thought that relationship were going to be for a lifetime, like a marriage, but it turns out it really wasn't going to go the distance, that it was really for a reason. You know, I needed to learn something, or it was for a season. It was a decent long period of time, but it was time to go. And I think the wisdom and the strength is being able for me to assess which of these 3 kind of categories is the relationship in for me, honestly. And so for me, you know, I've had certain friendships, or not as many friendships, but romantic relationships. I thought we're going to go the distance, and I realized, well, no, it was going to be for, you know, just a reason.
But that takes a lot of experience and a lot of life experience to get to that point, to understand reason, season, or lifetime. You don't know that when you're in your 20s or when you're younger. It takes some experience to get to that point.
I agree with you. Life experience is so helpful, but I just think even knowing that there are these 3 categories, that piece of wisdom would have helped me.
Yeah,
just to know that they even exist. I never thought about that, and to give myself the freedom and flexibility and permission to say, hey, it's okay. Not every relationship that I think is going to last forever does. That's just the real world. Had I known that in my 20s, it might have helped, you know, because I got married. The big question is probably why did it end, or why did you get married? You know, I got married because I was given a dilemma by my mother. No, I'm kidding. You get married now or you're out of the basement. No. She was in Chicago. There was no basement. But no, the woman I was with said, we're either going to get married or she needs to move on. Mm-hmm. And I highly do not recommend dilemmas. I just don't think they work.
Or ultimatums.
Yeah, it's
ultimatums is
Yeah.
what I meant. Dilemmas, misspoke. Yes, thank you. Ultimatums. Dilemmas are constant, you know. So yeah, she gave me the ultimatum, and back then, which is different than now. Back then, I was thinking to myself, "What's wrong with me? She's so great. She's so amazing," and I just believed there was something wrong with me, because she was so amazing and like a great friend, as you were saying, Leanne, you know. But I realized there was nothing wrong with me. There was something that it wasn't the right time or whatever. There was something that, and I wouldn't have gotten married. But back then I just didn't have that. And the other thing is, I like to, again, this is like more of a world view, but I like to look at the world as a world not of scarcity, but abundance. And I believe I made that choice to get married from a place of scarcity, you know, like scarcity. I'll never find anyone like her again. She's so great. I'll be alone forever. I'll never find this opportunity. That is not true. You know, I live in the 2nd largest city in the country, maybe top 10 or whatever in the world. There are tons of people here, and there are a lot of great people. But I didn't make the decision from that viewpoint. And so I was living in a place of scarcity, and
but I think a lot of people going through divorce or some sort of relationship breakup are in that space because they're scared of what they don't know. There's a comfort zone and there's a happiness of where you're at.
Right.
So it's just tough to see. Just take a step back and see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it can be, but I think that therapy is really helpful. You know. I think it is. And I also think just because something's hard or painful or I'm in fear doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. That's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Some of the most difficult things in life, the most rewarding things in life are often the most difficult. If I had never gone after them, I wouldn't have some of the joys I've had in life. So being afraid is normal. I would expect that unless you're a sociopath and you have no feelings whatsoever about
Right.
anything,
Yeah.
fear is not a barometer of whether I should do anything.
Yeah. I agree. And also making mistakes and embracing them rather being scared of them and scared to take the risk and do it. Just do it. And if it fails, embrace that. What can you learn from it and move on?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what's great now, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go for it.
The great thing now is, I'm a single guy and women are going to want to know, and I'm sure they do. And I know you at home do. You at home. Yes, you, Lucy, you. Yep, you. I don't know
Because
if there's a
everybody names
Lucy.
their kids
Right.
Lucy.
People are like, wow, is this guy even straight? Like he's, like they don't know if I'm married or not. But if I say I'm divorced and it was a woman, go, okay, he's straight. Or he can commit, which is ironic. Like,
right.
the divorce guy is the guy who can commit
Yeah.
because he got married.
Yeah.
It's a twisted thing.
Yes.
So
Coming from the single guy who's never been married.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the boyfriend likes me, because I'm really committed.
Yeah, I can see.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that. But I think that's a real healthy way to look at it. And as the boyfriend mentioned, I think it takes it takes us sometimes a long time to get there to really understand. Because when I was in the thick of it, it's a lot of questioning myself, doubting myself.
Getting married or getting
Not-
divorced or both?
At the first time, I would say I didn't think about that at all. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then the second time, I remember actually the morning of my wedding, talking to my parents and asking them to talk me out of it.
Oh, that's nice. Were they paying for that wedding?
No, they didn't.
Okay, good.
They're like, nah, just do it. You're fine.
Yeah. So they thought it was just pre-wedding jitters?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't.
So how old were you at your first marriage?
I was 22, right before my 23rd birthday.
And then your second one?
I was 27.
Okay.
So,
And-
it was a thing.
yeah.
And so now I just, I date. I have actual relationships and get to know somebody.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
You got some good gifts, right? How much
I
did you make that
did.
first wedding? It's a fair question.
You know what? I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
How
We
about-
had a small wedding. We were married on the strip. It wasn't a big to do, and we had a reception like in the clubhouse of our apartment complex. And
Mhm.
It
Good. So
was-
there was the $1.99.
yes,
like
it
the-
was. It
remember
was a
that?
budget wedding.
That's cool.
It was a budget wedding, but it was
It's about the
Fabulous.
marriage anyways. Yeah, and it's about the love. Do you still love that person?
yeah. I look back like I'm not. It's weird. It was so long ago. It was.
Do you speak with him
No, I haven't seen him since '95.
since the restraining order kicked in?
Yeah, so it's been a while since
Did
some of
you-
these people were born.
I got married on April Fool's Day in 1995 in Chicago.
Really,
And we thought that was a funny idea, but
That's
it's really not.
Holidays. There's
Not
something
anymore.
about
When you look back.
no. Well, that's like my first husband proposed to me on Valentine's Day, and my second husband I got married the day after, not the same year.
Mm.
But yeah, the holiday. I don't get the holiday thing. What's it with people picking the holidays?
I don't know, but it's just like a total non sequitur. But it's really funny when I came in here. The guy who runs the place, a really nice guy at this museum. He's like, I'm here for the, the divorce, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like the show, and he's like, oh, there are two of you, right? I'm like, no, that's the divorce part. I'm alone. He's like, oh, I thought there were gonna be two of you. It was funny to me at the moment.
And then we came in and they're like, oh, the other guy's here.
Yeah, that's right. There they are.
I'm like, oh, you mean Vic? They're like, we don't know, but he's wearing a hat.
I was. Yeah, that's right.
They're digging the hat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So how has all of this changed your relationships now? I mean, you kind of spoke.
This interview so far.
Yes. How is it? So what?
I mean,
let's
I'm gonna
just-
tell you, you guys.
let's-
I see
Right.
things so differently.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything's so. I'm sorry, you're saying like, how has what changed?
How has your relationships changed now? Have you had serious relationships?
Yeah, I have.
That's such a weird look and
yeah,
weird question.
no, I mean, I have. I've had serious relationships, and I really like to get married. I like to have a child.
You're kind of smiling when you say that.
No, because it sounds weird when a guy says, "I want to have a child." I don't know. It feels like because I
Why is
know I
that weird?
physically can't
Yeah.
have one. Yeah, I physically can't.
Well,
A few
I find a
years.
woman really sexy when she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you like are you looking specifically for? You could.
I just
look.
want a pregnant woman.
Yes.
I want to do none of the work. I'm very lazy that way. Let some other guy do the actual impregnating.
You're like, I just want the baby.
No, I just think like I think like that is one of the not that it's necessary for every woman to go through. I know a lot of women don't choose to, and it doesn't make them any less of a woman or any less feminine or anything like that. I think what makes a woman so amazing is they are literally carrying life and literally creating life within them. And to be like close to that and a part of that is just so, to me, touching, and like it's the closest thing to like being like a spiritual experience in a way. And I'd like to have that. Plus, I feel like I have a lot of wisdom. I would hope I could really share with the child, on a day-to-day basis. It would be really rewarding. I totally want to be a stay-at-home dad. I said this.
I see where you're going.
No, I didn't think this, but I said in the show I'd like to be a stay-at-home dad. A show they saw me do stand-up but she should have kids in her 40s. Because that way
because then you can stay home.
You just do nothing, but they're in their 40s. It's easy. Not the wife.
The kids?
The kids. Yeah. I want the kids to be in their 40s. No, but it would be really cool to.
Well, you can adopt me.
Okay, perfect. Are you potty trained? Phyllis, is she potty trained?
Barely.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the boyfriend's shaking now. Yeah. So what's different now?
Mm-hmm.
I think now I don't really, if I were to like go on a date or I use like I'm on Tinder. Yeah, I am. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying, ladies, my voice,
and they are,
or anything else you're feeling, the reverberation, if you rub next to the speaker, that sounded creepy. But
Mom, cover your ears.
Yeah, I am single. You can reach me at Vic Cohen. That's VicCohen at me.com. That's right. You've heard a little bit about what I just want someone who's got a great sense of humor. And that's not the question. I will answer my own questions now. Your show is going off the rails. It's totally off the rails.
I'm just going to sit here.
No, VicCohen.com. Here's the thing that's different. I don't really care so much about the results. Like if I go on a date and it's really fun, that's great. Every time I'm about to go on a blind date or like, I've just spoken with someone on the phone or I'm about to see them for the first time, I love that. I relish that feeling. To me, I say to myself, like, if I even have just a tinge of discomfort, I kind of remind myself that I'm engaging myself in life. This is exciting and it's fun. And I have no idea what's about to happen. Some people find that terror, like, pure terror. To me, that's what life is about.
Well, you're a big risk taker, right?
You like certain
to play
ways.
Big. Yeah.
I've never been on a roller coaster. So
what?
I'm afraid of dying.
And that happens all the time on roller coasters, but you drive the 405. So
yeah, I know.
Okay, fair.
No, but people do if you're going to go in a roller coaster accident, it's a horrific death. I just don't want it. Life is challenging enough. The 405 is challenging enough. I don't need to be on something and pay to be terrorized. I can walk out my door. It happens every day. I could easily
just put you in a cardboard box and shove you down the stairs. That's the equivalent of being on some of the roller coasters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
That's as close as I've gotten. I've been on a log ride.
Oh, all right.
That's kind of like
living.
But I don't do that anymore either.
Vic is running with scissors. So a good date for you would be at a theme park, like Knott's Berry Farm.
I'm the worst. Yeah, at that. No, I'm like, would only want to see the shows.
So here's the thing. So to have fun on a blind date, because I think I've gone on maybe 2 blind dates in my entire life, and they were horrible.
Okay.
Right? Because you never know what's going to show up at your doorstep. And knowing that the other person has probably that same fear of not knowing what's going to show up at the doorstep, you could have so much fun with that. Because I've often thought, wouldn't it be fun? Like if I were to meet, this was a long time ago when my parents and I were sitting around, I think I was going to I was going to meet my in-laws for the first time. And we thought, wouldn't it be hilarious if you like stuffed a big basketball underneath your shirt and showed up at the family thing and, went along that you were pregnant and you shocked everybody. Right. Like stuff like that. Like, do you think like you could dress up in disguise or? I
don't really want to prank women.
No?
No, I don't think it's nice. I mean, it's a funny idea. You're mean. No, I don't mean you're mean.
I wasn't thinking about it being mean.
I'm being totally like,
okay, yeah,
as a real question,
yeah.
Like I really, like, cause I do a lot of pranks. I mean, I've been like, if you go to VicCohen.com or you go to the YouTube channel,
mm-hmm.
You'll see I've done a lot of pranks, but I like to just not put on a show, I like to just be like, get to know the person. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Sorry, I
nice.
hate to put the.
No, but it's
No, it's
serious.
serious.
It's relationships. You're looking for something, so you're going to put the effort into it and actually get to know somebody, and not treat it as your work or what you do.
Yeah, and it's not a show. I mean, like,
Right.
I think that's. I want to genuinely get to know someone and have them get to genuinely know me.
So you would never go on The Bachelor.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to be considered to be on The Bachelor.
I don't know.
So, but I would if their money was right.
It could be like The Bachelor with a twist.
That's right.
You know. So, well, that's good to know that you take it seriously.
I mean, like I have fun. I mean, when I
Yeah.
say seriously, not like I'm super serious, but you know, I like to find out what she likes. If it's first of all, here's the thing. After doing a bunch of dating, I do like prefer to do like a coffee thing first off.
Yeah, it's
Something quick.
Meet and greet. That's what
Yeah.
I call them. Yeah.
Right. And also it's like here's a red flag when she only wants to do dinner at her restaurant. Like she
Ooh.
picks the place.
Women do that?
Some do.
Really?
That's a red flag that she's really looking for a dinner, you know,
Well,
and I'm not,
Mhm.
you know, I want, so
Yeah.
that's a red flag. There's some others.
like, oh, the buffet again. She's hungry.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I also like to, you know, kind of get to know them a little on the phone. I like to plan something fun. If it's like a second date, something I know they like to do.
So, do you meet all of your dates online?
Not all, but I have met a lot.
Yeah.
I would say like, I'll be honest here. You guys gave me that truth serum. You know,
That's what
I mean,
we do.
I
What do you
think-
think's in that water?
Oh, I don't know, but it's great. I'm feeling tingly all over.
Different water.
Oh, okay. I like Tinder,
Mhm.
and I like it because it's quick. As far as like whether there's any kind of connection, and then, you know, it's like easy to talk through texting, and then maybe meet.
No, that's great.
I don't know. I'd be happy. Listen, I've kind of decided to change it up a little, and more recently I've been using podcasts, starting with this one.
All right. That's.
Yes, I would love for you to
I would never. have
best
gotten
man, bridesmaid,
that.
Done.
right here.
Yeah.
You see a lot of really great women here, single.
We
right?
could probably pull
Guests.
it
No,
in.
but some of
what
your
about this
divorced
one?
guests.
She's
True,
standing
yeah.
next to the exhibit of bras and panties on the wall.
Taking a picture.
Yeah.
Um,
And she's by herself.
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Look at me. I'm on the show.
We're doing things.
She's not impressed. Yeah.
So podcasts are your new thing.
No, I would love it if you guys, you got some women coming through. I don't want to sound desperate. I mean, I'm not.
Mhm.
But if you do find some great women,
We could do that.
you never know.
Yeah.
We could always have you guys
Or
both
do a blind
back
date here.
on. Yeah.
I'd be way into that.
The Museum of Broken Relationships would be a great place for a blind date.
I'm ready. Bring me.
You could bring your next Tinder date here.
You know, I was thinking that it would be a fun thing to do like a podcast where I just do blind dates. But the whole point is I do want to meet someone.
That
It's
takes
like-
the whole thing about making it a shtick, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want
Right.
to do that.
Yeah. Or I would never like just surprise someone or
Right.
go, oh, we're broadcasting live.
But do you like it when women surprise you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean by surprise?
Like, what if a woman kind of pranked you on a first date? How would you feel about
oh,
that?
if it was a nice prank. Yeah. I mean, if it turns out she's 90 in real life, it would kind of be a waste of time, you know. Nothing's wrong with not that it's wrong, you know. I mean, never mind.
Dig yourself
I'm just 90-year-olds, you know. I mean, I'm
because I have a lot of them listening on iTunes right now.
That's your demo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm ready. I'm ready to settle down.
Nice.
I mean, I haven't been single. My marriage ended in 2000.
So it's been a while.
So it's 2017 at the moment of this broadcast.
Wow. And you're looking to have kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
I would like to. I mean, it's not the most mandatory thing in the world, but I would like it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not tall. That comes up. People actually really do, you know.
Really? Does that affect?
Doesn't bother me.
No, of course
I've
not.
been short
but-
my whole life. It's been wonderful.
Do you
But-
like women who are shorter than you or
I don't
taller than
care.
You? You just yeah.
If they've got a pulse, if they're upright, you know, they can be horizontal as long as there's a heartbeat and, you know, I'm kidding. No, I want, a longer woman. That's what I just said. I'm way into that too. You know, it's like sense of humor is so fun. That's a big thing. You know,
Yeah.
whether she's tall or short, I don't care.
Sense of humor is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
No.
Smart wit.
That's why I'm dating a comedian.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's funny.
Yeah.
I keep him on his toes.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
How long have you two been together?
A year and a half.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
where did you meet?
Starbucks.
Yeah, imagine that.
Wow.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I got to hit some Starbucks.
We were both sitting at the same table working. I was working because I had just moved and needed an internet connection, and you were
Working.
working. And man,
Working on
mystery.
meeting her.
Yeah. And I had to use the ladies' room. So I was like, excuse me, would you watch my stuff?
And you didn't steal it. And you're like, he's a keeper.
That's
It was that
exactly it.
simple.
I'm like, oh my God, an honest one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah.
Because you're not going to take a risk at Starbucks.
Yeah, that's true. But
You can take a risk on Tinder too.
Well,
So,
this is true.
oh yeah, Tinder can be rough.
Yeah, so what's a
I'd be-
bad Tinder date you've had?
There's no such thing as a bad time. Trying to think the worst. I've had some, I've had some crazy dates. I'll share a couple things. One, I met a girl on J-Date.
Okay.
I'm not even Jewish. No, I am Jewish. First of all, there are three kinds of women I've
Mhm.
discovered. Actually four. There's Jewish, there's Jew friendly. That's someone who will hang out with the Jewish guys. Oh, I'm kind of curious what that's about. Jew curious is someone who wants to make love, see what that's about with the Jewish man.
Really?
Yes. And then there's Jew hating. Now, a Jew hating person, which is horrible, could also be a Jew curious.
Just in
They just want to have
disguise.
sex, and even though they hate him.
Really?
But I have fortunately not run across that person. That would not be my favorite.
Have you heard of these people?
I've decided, I've come up with this theory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Your question was about though.
Bad-
Okay.
bad
So
dates.
I met on
Bad-
J-Date. I met a woman. She was really cool. I thought she was Jewish till she told me she wasn't. But she liked Jewish guys. I thought she lived in Beverly Hills till she told me she didn't, because that was also on her profile. She lives in Australia. So I went for a 19-day coffee date
Really?
and met her in Australia. So like halfway around the world. It was amazing.
Wow.
And then it was not amazing, but it was still fun. I shot it on so much video. I shot like 40 or 60 hours, something, of video. I still haven't edited it because I think it'd be like a great
I was
documentary.
scared to ask of what parts you shot.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, that's a good date, Vic.
Yeah, it was great. It was really fun. We had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
So I'll go anywhere. I went to Kansas City once for a date
Really?
on
Wow.
J-Date. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now I keep it within within California. I like to, or at least the time zone.
Yeah.
But it seemed fun, and people travel so much; it's easy to communicate. It's not like it used to be. So I went to Kansas. Where was another? I think I went to Minnesota. Yeah, I did. Went to Minnesota, and those are the three big travel.
Wow.
So was it after those dates where you were like, I live in the second biggest city in the United States. I think I can do okay here.
Yeah, right. This was not the abundance, Vic. That's a good point. Thank you. Yes, that was the scarcity point of my life.
And so you go to even scarcer
Right.
locations.
Well, actually, I think I was doing it for the adventure
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the story, because it's
Mhm.
a fun story,
It's
and
a great
also for the sex, and not in that order, because we had some fun conversations prior to those visits. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So, I believe you can find love anywhere, really.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to I really would like to find someone in LA or someone who's close to LA or was willing to move to
Or
LA.
at least to move or fly here. Let them do the traveling. Like,
Yeah, that's
you
a good
fly, I'll
point.
buy.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a while ago, but it was fun. As far as terrible Tinder dates on the spot,
Mhm.
most people have been very good. I've had some crazy dates in general. They're a little too crazy to talk about. There was one woman who I knew I needed to no longer see her when I was hiding all the knives in my apartment.
Really?
Afraid, not for me, but that she would grab one and go after me.
So you're like, I'm kind of scared of her. I'm going to bring her to my place anyway.
Yeah.
And then
She
I'll
was
just hide the
crazy.
weapons.
I was scared of her, but we had a connection in some areas. And then I realized, no, I'm not going to die. Oh, this was one. This is a great one.
I'd rather go on a roller coaster.
Okay, I'll share some stuff that's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Here's some crazy stuff that just hit me. Okay, ladies, if you do have a son in your life, it's best you not talk about things like sexual about the son to your date. Okay,
Oh.
I've had this happen at least
What?
twice. I had one woman who she's really pretty, nice, very professional lady. She was wait, hold on. Professional lady sounds like a night of the, like she was a professional, like, and not in a sex
Tinder.
worker,
Yeah.
like that kind of professional. She's a professional. I don't know. Am I the only one who's ever heard it called that?
Nope.
Oh,
We're all,
okay.
No, we're all there.
All right.
We're all
No,
there.
she had a great job, a nice career, whatever.
Mhm.
And she was like married to her son. He was like 12. She took him everywhere. She's divorced. The guy didn't, obviously the husband was gone. And she said to me, this is a little graphic, but I'm going to go with it because you asked.
Go
You
for it.
said, Vic, be graphic. You did, right?
Yeah,
No.
we just edited that part out.
Right,
but
right.
yeah, it's there.
You said, no, but she said to me, I don't remember, I think it was like Tom. She's like, Tom is growing up. So it is so wonderful. He's been waking up with morning wood, and it's just so beautiful to see him maturing and becoming a man. I was ready to throw up. Like, I don't want to hear about your son's erection at all. I didn't ask.
And why are you talking about it?
Right. I didn't ask. I never will ask. I don't want to know. It's not cute.
No.
It's not. And
Cute's not the word that comes to
no.
mind.
And she also was talking about how they still slept in the same bed. So my biggest nightmare would be if I spent the night and I got something poking me in the back. Like, I don't want that. Like,
Oh,
that's just not
no.
happening.
And you said this happened on multiple occasions, multiple different.
There was another person,
Wow.
and she says to me, this is crazy too. And also, if you're on antidepressants, I totally respect that, but I don't need to hear all 12 of them the first date. Spoon feed me, 2 or 3 at a time. I won't get to the 12, but it's overwhelming. So this woman said to me, she goes, I'm so happy. I've got the best communication with my son. I mean, he will tell me anything. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's all I need to hear.
Right.
She's like, we were at a movie
Oh no.
and he was sitting next to me and there was a sexy scene. This mother I'm out with at the moment of this story is telling me, she said, it was a sexy scene and he leaned over to me and he whispered in my ear, Mom, I just popped a boner. Okay. First of all, that is not a bone. Okay. So I would be like, Junior, that's not a bone. Okay? That's like cartilage. That's like blood vessels. So I never want to hear that again, ever. Besides, it's medically incorrect and it's disgusting. I don't want to hear pop a boner. So I don't want to hear it from her mouth. I didn't want to know that it came out of his mouth, and know that there are things that you don't share with your mother and with a date like me. So I was totally turned off. That woman, goodbye. Then I had another woman with boys, 2 boys. This is so insane. This woman had one of her kids. These are like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 3-year-old, no, maybe 4, was having behavioral issues. And I dated this girl for about 3 or 4 months, was telling me that the 4-year-old had a plan to kill her. That that the 4-year-old wanted to kill her, wanted to murder her. And then I said, does he have a plan? Because I know that's a great question, right? Like, to know, like, how serious is it? And she said, yes, he does. And I said, what's the plan? Because I want to know. I don't, if I'm spending the night, I want to know what's going on.
If it includes you.
Right. She said his plan that he told me, not me, but her, this is her talking, was he would go into the kitchen, take the knives, and stab me to death in bed. And I was thinking, that's a great plan. I mean, it's a horrific plan, but that was something a 3-year-old could actually do, or 4-year-old. So this kid, I'm like, never spending the night at that house. No. And he was getting temper tantrums and all kinds of stuff. So I didn't pursue that very long either.
No.
Why do you share that?
Yeah.
Why do you share that?
Why would she share these things? Or why would any of these women share these things?
I don't know. I mean, these are some of the mistakes.
Yeah.
Let me find out later when he's running after me with the knife. Let me find out later when I am getting nudged in the back
Like, time
by
out
a foreign
question.
object.
Yeah. Wow. So
Oversharing is a mistake for some people.
I would say so. So that's a lesson for, single moms out there, or even single dads.
Yeah. And also,
know?
this is the other thing, I think. Like, if you're a single parent, I mean, not that I hate to be giving advice because I'm not, but I think that it's really important to be there for your child. The child needs that support always. The child's already been abandoned in some sense, probably a feeling of loss from the divorce. Mm-hmm. So I completely respect and support the idea of that parent being there for their kid. Of course, that's the priority. However, I also think that the parent isn't their spouse, meaning they're not their confidant, they're not their buddy, they're their parent. Now they can be friendly and have a great relationship that way. But I think what's happened sometimes, and at least what I've experienced, is some of these mothers might be becoming like, at least the two with the penis issues, like, I don't know how else to put it, like they're too close, they're enmeshed.
Right.
And they're not giving that kid, when that little boy grows up, that kid's going to have to leave mom. And if they enmesh too much, the child's going to be stunted, I believe, and not be available to actually find a partner of their own because, hey, they kind of mentally already have a partner. So that's my little thought on that.
So kind of, you can't be mom and girlfriend. You have to be mom and let the other parts go to
what do you mean?
Significant other.
The
mom can't be in place of a girlfriend. You can't have this whole relationship
to the kid
or
kid.
a friend.
Yeah.
You can't be a true friend to your kid
kid
either. You got to be disciplined. You got to
like the woman who is sleeping in bed
Yeah.
with her 12-year-old boy. That is messing up that child.
12-year-old,
Particularly if he has sexual arousal, whatever. Like that kid needs to have his own space, his own privacy. He needs to be respected for that. And if mom starts commenting about it, it becomes a very weird enmeshment, and also it's like a covert kind of incestuous thing. It's not, there's no touching, but it's like very emotional.
It's a mental.
Yeah.
So anyways, I have to look out for that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in a relationship with a woman in that kind of relationship with her son, because I would never be able to break through that.
No.
And I wouldn't want to. And that's her choice. It's not my place to even get involved.
No, I have.
But that's a reason relationship, nothing else.
Pardon me?
It's one of the reason relationships and nothing else.
A reason?
Reason, season, or
a reason for that relationship rather than
a season, a reason, or life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That reason is
get out.
Learn and leave.
Yeah.
Learn that. Yeah.
Boyfriend, you haven't dated someone who's had a child, have you?
I have not. No.
Oh.
No.
I have. I've dated a couple of people with children, and it is an interesting dynamic. Depending on if they get too close, if they're so attached and close to that kid, there's no room for somebody else.
Yeah, and I think that you want them to be supportive of you want to support the child, right? That relationship. But sometimes it can be off.
Yeah.
It's hard to figure out exactly where it's off, but it's like almost too intense.
Yeah. Because there was one time when I dated someone, I think it was on the second date, they brought their child.
Oh, I had that on a first date.
I was like, whoa, okay.
Actually, only the child showed up.
What?
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
That's babysitting, Vic.
Oh, right. That's right.
They paid you.
Where's mom? She said she just wanted me to meet you.
She's at the mall.
I screened them all first. That would be the worst date ever.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I had that too on a first date. She brought her kids, and it was like horrible. I'm buying a pizza dinner for 6 kids. I'm like,
she
what?
had 6 kids.
Whatever. It was
all
more
their
than
friends.
one.
It was a birthday.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
Chuck
It was
E.
okay.
Cheese.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be opposed to dating someone with children.
No,
Not at all.
I'm not opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to something like that, but and I wasn't, but, so boyfriend, if you tell me that you have children, I'm good.
Every Father's Day, wait by the door. You never know. Yeah.
We always hang out at
I
home.
think the other thing is like one thing that can be, even though I've been single for a pretty long time, is I still can be kind of sensitive. Like I had this one woman, I hate to admit this, but it really is true. Like she's like, how old are your pictures? Because they look like they're from different eras, or not eras, but different. Because there's one of me.
You're like, why are you wearing a zoot suit?
She's like, like different times, like what years, like what's most recent. Okay. So I went through, there were like maybe 6 or 8 pictures. I went through each one. I mean, not in a rude way. I was like, if she's curious, I'll do that. And I didn't hear back. I'm like, hey, I haven't heard back. And she wrote back, we're sorry, we're not a match. And that just felt horrible. Like she looked at my pictures, she assessed the date line of my progression in aging.
Oh no.
And decided
I'm out.
I'm out. Right? Stage left. It was like really kind of weird. I don't know. Sometimes, yeah. And the other thing that's really interesting is with the profile pictures, people look different than just the tip of their nose. There are a lot of people who like to take pictures of their nose, like just look really close up to their face. And I find that's risky. Like, I would never say I need a full body shot, but it's really interesting.
People I notice with selfies tend to find like all the perfect like angles of themselves where
Science.
It's very deceiving. Yeah. It's that and a concave mirror or something. I don't know what's going on, but a lot of if there are aerial shots of somebody, that's probably not a good thing.
Oh yeah, and I've seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen people like it was taken from a drone.
Right?
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is to see. I mean, eventually you're going to see the person. You're going to know.
Eventually,
Yeah.
God willing. Yeah.
Yeah. And preferably where there's light,
I had
not a
something
dark
set
place.
up. We're with a. She was going to be from. I think she's from, like Nicaragua or something, and she sounded really great, but there's like no English. That's just not going to happen. Like I can't go out with it. I mean, I have to.
Doing a whole game of charades in the middle of dinner.
Exactly.
trying to sounds like.
Right. I talked to her on the phone, and it was mostly Spanish. And then when she tried to do English, she spoke as fast as if she were speaking Spanish. I don't know if it was to try and fool me that it was English. Drop in a couple words of English, and she's fluent in both. But because I think it's a repartee is like fun.
Right.
That's exciting to me, not just how someone looks.
Right. No, there has to be some sort of ability to communicate in a way, right?
Yeah. It's the most important.
I mean, if it's just mute, I don't know. I mean, then there's some people that I've met. I don't know if you've encountered this, and it's almost like I wish you would stop talking. Turn the music up, someone, please.
Oh.
No, have you? Yeah.
Been on a date like that?
Yeah, where they're just not that bright. Or
I only attract smart people. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
I'm totally kidding. No, I think of it as like people are shy. I don't know. Maybe they are kind of not the brightest. I don't know.
Or they're nervous. There's a lot of things that go into a date.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that do you still keep in touch with your ex?
No, and I wish you would stop.
Okay,
actually,
sorry.
she said you've got to stop the calls. She actually,
because I texted her earlier.
No.
And sent her this picture.
what happened was when it ended, she felt that it would be best not to have contact because she needed some separation.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally understood, and I haven't really talked to her in a number of years, and it's good. I
Yeah.
mean, I respect that. I think it was the right choice because, I mean, I was really surprised at first, but she, it doesn't work sometimes to just be friends when there's an emotional connection. There needs to be a real cutting loose of the person, I think. No contact.
I did the same thing, and I think it was the best decision. And that's another thing. So have you ever had the experience of when you're dating somebody and they have an extreme close connection to their ex because of kids or otherwise?
Fortunately, that hasn't been a real big issue with me.
Because there are people out there who do still hang out with their ex or have these real close knit relationships.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Women have a bigger issue with that than I think men do.
As far as what?
As far as like if you were dating somebody who was previously married and had a kid and they were hanging out with their ex-husband, yeah, that's fine. But women,
Yeah.
if the man was hanging out with his ex-wife,
Yeah.
I sense or
Yeah, I
from
wouldn't
my
like that.
from my sense, women don't like that.
And I understand that in a way because like they were married,
Right.
and
Yeah.
what stopped them to do it again? I
Right.
mean, they were married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that would kind of be difficult.
I think it's a case by case thing. Like for me, I would just
Everyone's
You know.
different.
Yeah.
sometimes you just know that there's just no way that would ever happen again.
Yeah.
Like they would never get back together. There's
Mhm.
such, anger or whatever the case may be. That's the other thing. Like angry people, I can't date. Like
Oh no.
particularly around a relationship. See, like my feeling is that I've got stuff. We all have issues we deal with, and it's like I try and be real careful about my issues. Like not creating too much chaos around it.
Yeah.
It's because once you're married, or their stuff becomes part of it, becomes the partner stuff
Mm-hmm.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I just don't want someone who's had a totally reckless life. I'm not jumping in.
No. So are there deal breakers?
I think if someone were in active addiction where they weren't getting help,
Yeah.
if they were getting help, or if they were like in a 12-step program, I would be actually applauding that and be very happy for them and supportive, and I would have no problem with that. If someone's like, shooting heroin, doing coke all the time, even if they were like, I don't know, pot's a tricky one, but any like, serious drugs, I don't have the space for it in my head to deal
Yeah.
with that.
Or the money.
Yeah, exactly. But if they were getting help, I actually, I admire people who are trying to help themselves.
Yeah.
So I'd be way into that.
Yeah. No, so like when you're looking at dating people, when you're going on Tinder or JDate or wherever it may be, do you have a type that you look for?
Female?
You already said that.
Say
The
that.
heartbeat,
They're just like,
female.
that's it.
No,
but
but
like
here's the deal.
there's-
No, go on. Ask
ahead,
your
you're
question.
done.
No.
Nope.
Do I have a type,
Yeah.
like a certain specific? No. You know what it is? I used to have this strategy on Tinder where I would only swipe right. Swipe right means I'm interested, and then if they swipe right, then we can communicate. That's how the app works. I would swipe right, and I wouldn't even be looking. I'd be watching TV and swiping right. And what I discovered is there are guys who go on pretending to be women, but they're clearly guys. They've got a male face, and they say they're guys, and they're just looking for a bi-curious guy. So I matched up with 2 guys this way, not even meaning to. And we had the best sex. All 3 of us got together. No, but I want to tell you something. Seriously, the boyfriend. I don't know why I'm telling the boyfriend, but I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna whispering it. So Leanne, I could get such hot guys. If I were in the gay market, Leanne.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they just, it's like they couldn't help themselves. Which is actually more of a compliment than if a woman likes you, because gay men have the best taste.
They do. They have great taste.
One guy said to me, "Hey, dude, we should definitely hang out." But that would never work. Forget the fact he's a guy. But let's just say I was in a mood. I've never been in that mood, but let's just say I was in a mood. I'm like, now's the time. I'm going for it. I do have a man crush, by the way, Bradley Cooper. Let's say you look like Bradley Cooper. I just think Bradley Cooper's a good looking guy. If I were forced and there was lots of liquor put on me, no, Phil, that doesn't mean I'm gay. I know that, and anyone else, if you hear that, you can say, oh, then he must be gay. No, everyone has a man crush. The boyfriend has a man crush.
Do you have a man crush?
No.
You do. You waited
did.
too long.
He did. He just didn't want to say
I
it.
was trying to think about who it would be, and I don't
Because
know.
there's so many.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
You're trying to
Okay.
narrow that down.
By the end of this, you need to tell
Yeah.
us. So, I would never go out this guy. I like how I'm explaining it. That should be it. We're done.
Would you
He's a
ever
guy.
do it just like
Oh.
for coffee, just to see and like talk to
No.
Oh.
But I didn't. What I was turned off was that he called me dude.
Oh.
Like I wouldn't want my lover calling me dude. Dude, that was great sex.
High fiving you.
Yeah, right. Seriously, up high, down
Yeah.
low. And then the other guy was on a raft with a fancy drink with the umbrella, and that just turned me off too. It was a little. I think I'd want my man to be a little more manly if I were forced. I like a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've seen a lot of people on dating sites that identify as agnostic, or I always get it confused, agnostic and the other one.
Atheist.
Yeah, I know it means like God's not in their life either way.
Yeah.
One of them believes there could be, but they're not sure, and the others there's no way. I get turned off by that only because for a lot of them that's a big deal. It's very important.
Mhm.
And for me, I do have a connection with something bigger. I'm not like super religious, but I do believe there's an energy. And I feel it like when I'm communicating, like between us. It's like, as I say, I've heard this expression, which I like. It's I experience like a bigger energy or power, whatever it is, horizontally versus vertically. In other words, I feel it between humans when we're communicating and experiencing some
Right.
kind of connection. Like now I feel it, but vertically meaning like, there's someone up above. I mean, I do feel that at times as well, but for me, it's really helpful, and it's developing that part of myself in a spiritual way of being. And if I were with someone who just is like, that's complete bull, that's garbage, I want nothing, or made fun of it, or sometimes I go to temple, being Jewish, like, certain holidays, maybe I'd want them to just hang out with me during it, and if they just like, oh, that's stupid. I don't know. It just would be an issue, or, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm finding that I'm seeing a lot of that lately.
Interesting.
More on like, I'm also did OK Cupid on that one. I've seen that a lot.
I think a lot, my thought on that is a lot of the younger generation is very agnostic or atheist.
Mm.
I don't think people were raised in, like, I was raised in a Catholic home,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't as serious, but I think with each generation it lessens type thing. Not always, but in my particular case, and the younger people I know today.
Well, I'm a millennial, so
Yes.
I can speak for our generation, and you're right.
Yeah.
As a millennial, you are totally right.
Right.
And it's very hard for us, those of us who have a connection to something bigger, because so many of our fellow millennials, are so disconnected from that or didn't have that to start.
But the thing that we read, I'm just going to keep on drinking.
Okay. Keep going.
I'm going to acknowledge Vic is not a millennial. You are a millennial.
I'm a bilennial, or what? I don't know what the next older thing is.
Generation X?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So,
Keep going.
So
Please.
what we found out when we were doing a little research on another episode is that people with no religion, not affiliated with a specific religion, who are agnostic or atheist, have a better chance of marriages lasting than those affiliated with a.
But during sex, they never scream out, "Oh God."
No.
Never. It never happens. Is that true? That's a story. That's like a news story or a study.
That's
Yeah,
the data. That's
the
data
data.
that's out there.
Is there certain religions that do worse, or
I think it was it Baptist or Presbyterian?
We'll have to look that up. I'm not sure which
Protestant?
religion was.
Maybe it was Protestant. There was one of them that was
That's
higher,
interesting.
considerably higher than the rest. Yeah, and people who live together, just kind of interesting things that we came up with about the religion thing. But then people who live together, I'm getting way off track.
I didn't want to live together when we were married. Forget getting married beforehand.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Well,
If you could have separate homes, that'd probably make it easier.
it would be really good.
But the religion thing, back to the religion
Yeah.
religion thing, that's having a connection in a way. So you've got to be able to connect with that. If there's such a big disconnect between I don't believe in something and you do, you don't share something. It's part
That's
of your
a big
life
deal,
that you don't
I
share.
think. I mean, for me, it is.
Mhm.
And, I think like coming from like a more spiritual place, it's like life for me is easier because then I'm not totally in charge. The universe is part of this too. So I can just focus on the doing and let the world take care of the rest. And it will, as long as I do my part. I like that way of living. Now, someone else who has no connection with anything bigger would say that's ridiculous. I'm in charge of everything. And you know what? I can't live like that. It just doesn't work for me.
I don't want to be in charge of everything.
I don't either.
Neither do I. I don't want you to be in charge of everything.
Mostly cooking.
Yeah. So that's been interesting. That's why I was talking about people like who do the recovery thing. That whole program, from my experience being out with them, it's very spiritual based.
It is.
So it's a great thing,
Mhm.
because that plays right into kind of a lot of my belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very, very true.
So what are your next projects? What are you working on?
I'm working on finding a wife.
Okay. How's that going?
Yeah.
I don't know. How's it going?
I don't know.
I think you're doing good. I think I'm waiting for the emails to start piling
They've
in.
got 20 downstairs that you can.
Oh, that's true. That would be creepy to be hitting on the women in the broken relationship museum.
They're probably single, so you can.
That's
They're here
true.
for a
That's
reason.
true. So project wise, I've been doing stand up comedy around LA. And I will, if you go to my website or follow me on Twitter, it's just Vic Cohen, VicCohen. And then on Instagram, it's Real Vic Cohen, because there's so many fakes out there. RealVicCohen. This is the original. I have 3 lawsuits pending from people pretending to be me.
Really?
No.
Oh.
That would be really awesome and horrible at the same time. No, it would be, it's not happening. So it's Real Vic Cohen is my Instagram. Vic Cohen. Do you put this up on your site?
I
or?
do. It'll be
Oh,
at
okay,
all
cool.
the show notes and everything forever, for eternity.
That feels so good.
So even like
So don't change it. That's
Right.
what we're saying.
Don't.
We've had
No.
people come back and say, "No, I've changed my Twitter account or
That's a
whatever."
good strategy.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, sorry. They're going to be contacting the old person.
So there's this documentary that you mentioned, and thanks guys
Yeah.
for watching. I
It
really
was
appreciate
fantastic.
it.
Yeah.
We were entertained and
good.
really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I feel like I know you so well.
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah. I mean, the documentary played up. If you haven't seen it, it is called Committed, and it's on iTunes, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. And Howie Mandel followed me, documenting a good part of my life for about 12 to 14 years, something like that, starting in 1998. And it kind of follows some of my performing. I wish they'd covered the dating life, because a lot of that was happening then. Some of the stories like the Australia and that kind of thing. But that's out now, and I loved what they did. I think that they kind of played up a lot of the crazy side of my comedy versus some of the, they did a lot of the Andy Kaufman-esque stuff, which I have done, but I don't that's really not all of me. So I would have liked maybe a little
Oh,
more.
it's all of you, Vic.
Yeah. At some point, my clothes are off. Just some point. And then Debbie Reynolds is
Oh
in
my
it.
gosh.
The Debbie Reynolds
That
thing
was
was fantastic.
fabulous.
Yeah.
So,
That was in that we were singing that
oh,
first
that's
morning.
day.
cool.
Yeah.
Dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba, said the monkey to the chimp. Now you have to see the film.
You do.
All right.
It is really good.
Oh, good. I'm so
Yeah.
happy you liked it.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful. I've got a great team now working with me. I've got a great manager and agents. So I'm out auditioning a lot for different shows, and so it's been a really busy, good time. I think if you follow me on social media, I'd love for any of you listening to stop by. I'll give you my address. Wow, that sounds horrible. That's a bad idea.
All the knives will be hidden.
Yeah, exactly, and everything else. And I say that's about it. I've been writing a lot. I want to do a web series, and I might be getting my podcast going. I have some really great episodes in the past. Any of you listening? If you're not listening, why do I say any of you listening? It'd be someone not paying attention while listening.
Or
I
you're
guess
like,
it makes
hey,
no
hey,
sense.
you doing the dishes right now.
Yeah, you. It's called Vic Cohen's "It's a Fair Question," and
Yes.
there's some really fun episodes. So if you subscribe, then when the new ones come up, you'll start getting them, and that's on iTunes.
Which is great because basically you're asking people, your guests, anything, and they have to answer.
Yeah, right. It's where every question. There's no such thing as an unfair question. Every question is a fair one.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how pointed you guys are in your focus of your podcast. I think that's going to really serve you guys well. My podcast is really the idea that it could be about anything, but that there is no such thing as an unfair question. And I don't really put people on the spot. But it's that idea that you could be asked anything,
Right.
but it's not as necessarily focused in the subject. And I think that's a great thing that you've done. And I also love the name of your show. It's very creative and clever. So
Thank you very much.
yeah. So that's what's been going on.
I love it. You have a lot of things going on. I love following you on social media. So everyone out there, I highly recommend you do a lot of Facebook Live.
Every now and then something's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
And it's
flood.
not even like,
yeah.
it's just me driving around and seeing something.
But it's great. It's
like
entertaining.
that car
You
that hit a fire hydrant.
you have quite the following, and I'm
Yeah.
impressed.
Oh,
So-
thanks.
Thank you so much for taking the time to
How did we meet?
be on here. Facebook.
Was it just through Facebook?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
cool.
'Cause it
Well-
was right after I moved out here.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Well, you got a great sense of humor. You're so
Thank you.
funny.
Thank
And
you.
you're doing the
Likewise.
right thing, I mean, not that you need to hear from me, but this is like what you're meant to be doing. The boyfriend,
Yes.
you too. Great,
Thank you.
great meeting you. You're a great sidekick.
Thanks.
That's
He's all
what
right.
I am.
Yeah. And he's the man. He's like the guy who does all the technical stuff, like cliched man.
It's
Does
so
he fix
true.
things?
He does. He changed my tire the other day.
It wasn't even
wonderful.
flat. You're like,
it was just flat on one
right.
side.
the boyfriend, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
The tires are fine. He's just like, I want to show you I can do this.
Oh.
I'm a man.
Spent the afternoon at Sears. It was real.
Yeah, I'm the total opposite. I can't. So now I know who to call the boyfriend.
Yes.
I need the boyfriend.
I was like, I have AAA. We're like, nah, let's do it.
But yeah, and thank you guys not only for seeing the documentary, but also coming out and seeing me perform. You came out on a
Oh my
Mother's Day
gosh.
kind of show.
It was
And
great.
That
And
was a fun thing to see you in person. I think it was helpful for us, seeing each other here. It's like a
Yes.
second time.
Well, that was a great show.
No.
We thoroughly enjoyed it. We weren't sure what to expect, but we walked away.
oh,
Good. It was a
We
we
variety
talked
show.
about it. We still talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so funny. There's so much talent there. And
Yeah.
so for you guys, basically went to Scott Neary's.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
SCOTNERY, and he does a thing called Booby Trap, and it's every Wednesday, and I often perform there doing stand-up, but it's a variety show.
Yes. And it's high energy. You never know what you're going to get. All the performers get 4 minutes. I loved it. I would definitely go back again.
You think you'd be interested in performing sometime?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's
Well, we
right
can
up my
talk about
alley.
that.
Yeah.
You know,
let's talk about that.
yeah, because I know Scott well, and he's a great guy.
Yeah, and
So-
mom, just to be clear, the Booby Trap is not a strip joint. it's totally separate.
No, that's the one I was talking about.
Oh,
you
you
wanna
want to
do-
performers get 4 minutes? Yeah, that's it.
On the pole, yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. So thank you guys. Is this like the end? Is
Yeah.
this like where we say all those things people say at the end?
Yeah, but I'm going to put everything in the show notes, so things are good.
Okay. Well, thank you again. You
Well,
guys
thank
are,
you very much. for your
I look
time.
forward to being a regular and seeing you next week. What time should I be here? Just
We'll
self-invite
bring food.
myself. It's horrible. I won't do that. No. But no, thanks again for having me. And if you guys ever have a chance, come to the museum. This museum's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. Yes, please come out, check out Museum of Broken Relationships on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh,
Take a picture with Superman.
oh, never mind. No, another time. We'll talk about my first love, but not for this show.
Okay.
Next time.
Next
Yeah.
time, you guys. Vic's going to come back. First love, all that good stuff. All right, then we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.